Interviewing for a position can be very intimidating, especially if you are worried about not being able to think of a good answer for the interviewer's questions. While this video cannot possibly prepare you for every single question that may ever be asked in an interview, we can provide tips to help you prepare answers for some of the most commonly asked interview questions. You can then use some of these tactics and strategies to help you formulate answers to other questions that you may be asked in an interview. One of the most common interview questions is everyone's favorite, tell me about yourself. I've watched experienced professionals freeze like a deer in the headlights when asked this question in an interview. It's very common to freeze when you're asked this question because suddenly you can't remember anything worth mentioning about yourself or what you enjoy. So remember that the interview is not intentionally trying to trip you up by asking you this question. They simply want to get to know you in order to see how you might fit in this position or with the organization. So when preparing for your interview, keep a few things in mind about the question, tell me about yourself. Think of reasons why you would be a good fit for this position or the employer. You want to avoid repeating specific things on your resume because the employer has already reviewed your job search documents and qualifications. They want to find out more about you. So for example, you might talk about your leadership in student organizations, but don't just tell them what's on the resume. You want to go a little bit beyond that. And you want to share things that you're very passionate about, such as hobbies or extracurriculars or organizations that you're involved with that relate to the position or the company or the culture, or perhaps even the interviewer personally. And this is also a good time to mention some of your potential career goals. This is an answer that I encourage you to really think about, to practice, to get comfortable with, because it's going to come up over and over again as you progress through your career. You can also expect interview questions relating to your strengths and weaknesses. These questions are not always fun to answer, but they give you an opportunity to address what you bring to the application pool. Often employers will ask these questions to see if you've been reflective. Remember to watch the video on personal reflection if you need a review of this process. When answering strengths and weaknesses questions, use the position description to frame your answer. You want to highlight skills that are listed in the position description and then explain how you will gain or improve critical skills that you might lack. Your examples should be supported through experience. Tell a story that demonstrates. Avoid saying generic attributes like, I'm hardworking or I am a good leader. That doesn't tell us anything. Some employers may also ask, how did you learn about this position? This question opens the door for you to talk about why you are interested in the organization and excited about the possibility of working there. It is also an opportunity to mention any connections to the organization or employees. Some specific areas to keep in mind with this response include making sure to mention if you found out about the position from a career fair, through your college career center, or from a current or former employee of the company. Alternatively, you can also mention that you follow the company on Handshake or LinkedIn to get job alerts that you frequently check their website for listings. Avoid saying something along the line of, I just sent out a lot of applications and you're the only one who called me back. Even if this is the case, share what caught your attention about the position in the first place that made you want to apply. Another commonly asked question is, why do you want to work at this company, or why are you interested in this position? Doing some background research on the company before your interview is a great way to have knowledge that's based on the dynamic and their public image. Even if you know about the company, browse through Handshake, LinkedIn, and company websites to see how they portray themselves. Think about why the employer appeals to you and tell the interviewer what you may have found out that impressed you. Mentioning something that is not common knowledge will show that you researched the company and you are invested in the possibility of working there. How you deal with challenges is another important question that you should prepare before an interview. Employers want to know how you handle and solve problems in order to gauge how well you would succeed in the role. Talk about your usual process for tackling issues. This could be breaking down a project into easier steps, or creating a daily checklist to follow and keeping track of what's already been done. Similar to the challenge question, you may also need to describe a situation that didn't quite work out as planned. Think of a story before the interview that shows how you successfully handled a tough situation and describe what happened and what steps you took to overcome the problem. If you can share something you learned from the experience, ding, 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 there's some bonus points there. Always a good thing to do. A very common question near the conclusion of an interview is often, why should we hire you? Make sure you review the job description and pay attention to the role's requirements, skills, and qualifications listed for potential hires. Think about how you match every single one of those experiences and criteria, and how you have skills and experiences and knowledge that make you stand out from other candidates. Identify examples or stories that articulate why you are the perfect candidate. Use the question as an opportunity to discuss anything that you haven't been able to mention yet, such as highlighting or reiterating your qualifications or skills.